It is the East Coast Beast host, MDB, aka the baby-faced blogger. We have another dope episode of East Coast coverage for you today. Thanks for everyone that tuned in on YouTube and checked us out. This week we got a dope guest. When you think of female MCs that are trailblazers, that are hot spitters, you might think of Roxanne Shante or Lil Kim or MC Light. In Canada, you might think of Mishi Me or Eternia or someone. But you gotta add my girl to the list. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for the one and only Lavender.
Thank you. So
Hell
excited
yeah.
to be here.
Hell yeah, it's an honor and a blessing to have you. Hell yeah. Tell me about young Chelsea. We got to start from scratch.
Oh my goodness. Well, young Chelsea was kind of shy. I mean, I don't know. I was sort of shy when I was a kid, and I always felt like I was a little bit of an outcast in a sense. Also, growing up in a predominantly white area and being like one of the only Black children kind of can make you feel that way. And so for a while, I kind of hid myself in a sense from the world and stuff like that. I was a little bit of a tomboy, but mostly really friends with everyone kind of thing. But as I got older, I really started to come out of my shell in like my early adulthood with music, because before that I had just been like really shy until I realized I need to share that part of myself with people.
That's right. Yeah, 100%. You started rapping at 16?
Yeah, at 16. Yeah, at just like kind of on a fluke. It was just like a New Year's Eve party at one of my best friend Brianne's place. And we were drinking, and like it was just like four of us, I'm pretty sure. And I just started kind of freestyling to like a beat that was on, and then I just kept freestyling, and they just kept listening, and I was like, wow, I can do this. Like, what?
Absolutely, you can. Freestyling is the media that I met you through. You were freestyling to anyone that would listen outside our shows and stuff in PEI.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, what was the song you freestyled over that Alley Cat brought up the other day? I can't even remember the friggin' beat.
I'm pretty sure it was "Beat It" by Michael Jackson.
Yes, I knew it was a crazy beat. Yes.
Yeah.
Yo, who inspires you musically?
Oh, I have a lot of musical inspirations, but I would say I am like a huge Kendrick Lamar fan. Obviously, I really like DJ Premier and Guru. Gangstar is like super dope. I'm really big fans of them. I would say Schoolboy Q. Who else? Sometimes Eminem, definitely Eminem actually, because in my younger years I listened to like a lot of Eminem. Like Slim Shady LP was like on repeat in my car in high school. And Swollen Members, definitely Swollen Members too.
Hell yeah. You have an ill name. How did you get it?
Well, so I chose lavender because it's actually one of my aura colors. I took like a detailed quiz in this book that I had about auras and stuff like that. It takes like an hour long to do it. So one day I did it and I got two colors. I got magenta and lavender. And I have more magenta in my aura than I did lavender, but it like didn't flow as well. So then I just decided to go with lavender, and then I decided to change the spelling of it because someone else already had regular lavender, obviously.
Right.
And so I just kind of went with that, but it just stuck with me, and then I felt like I really identified with it.
Hell yeah, you did. You smoked that shit.
Yeah.
What were you doing before your first album? Like, were you making music?
I was making a little bit of music with Nemo and Vince the Messenger and Slime the Garbage Man. I was making music with them like probably since maybe 2017. And then Fat Matt, one of my friends that I met in PEI, he kind of introduced me to like the Halifax crew of like Black Buffalo and DJ Moves and Tai Chi Chi. And so when I met Matt, he like actually started to get me to create music on my own, kind of like without just featuring kind of thing. So that started in 2018.
Okay. When you got up with Moves, what was that like? Because he's a legend.
Yeah, he's a crazy legend. Like it's actually nuts to think about it. And like I think about it sometimes and I'm just like, wow, like you have such an impact on like Canadian culture, like
Mhm.
in music in general. It's beautiful. But it was really cool to meet him. He's like a really chill guy. We get along really well. And like it would just be fun to go down to Truro and record in his basement. What do they call it? Frig, I forget.
Oh, okay. Yes, I know what they call it, the halfway house.
Yeah,
Or
yeah, the halfway house. That's right.
yes,
I completely forgot because I'm like, wait, what? But yeah, the halfway house. And like usually people are just drinking beer, smoking weed down there, occasionally drop some mushrooms.
yeah, yeah.
And like, so it's a chill vibe.
Hell yeah, it is. But when I first heard you on Raw, I thought you were a psychopath serial killer.
I know.
But I also
Isn't it
loved
great?
it. I love the fuck out of it.
Thanks. It's like my darkest album, I think, that I've ever made. And honestly, I have struggled with dark emotions for a long time. Not like on the path of like killing people or anything, but like I've always loved like horror. And I've been into horrorcore. Like I'm a huge fan of Cage, and I used to bump Necro back in the day as well.
Mm,
So whenever I also had some things to work through mentally, and you know, certain traumas that I had to work through, and that like album really helped me. And it just kind of those are the kind of rhymes that are inspired by DJ Move's music for me, is like dark,
mm.
twisted, um murderous like beats, and way to speak on a
Yeah,
track, I guess. Like that's what his music inspires me to write like. So
absolutely. Can we talk about the story for Last Day on Earth that you
yeah,
shared?
sure. Really that was just me kind of wanting to, like, it's completely hypothetical, and I just basically put myself in the perspective of being murdered one day on the beach, and I thought it would be a cool little spoken word small story to take people through. And at the time I was a vegetarian, so I remember saying like, yeah, I had a dope veggie burger at the beach and blah blah
Mhm.
blah. And I just kind of put myself in someone who was being murdered shoes and tried to like describe it as best I could with the most detail in the short time span that I had. So I thought that was just like a fun thing for me to
It was super dope.
do.
And that brings me into like blurred manifestation of hate.
Yes. Now that one's a very I'm actually so glad that you bring that up because no one's
Mm,
ever asked me about it. And like I wrote it and I was just like, yeah, this is like fucked. Like this is definitely fucked. And then you got Barry C in the background, who's
yeah,
the guy who's like making like the weird sounds like come here and stuff like that. And he was
he's
actually
hilarious.
the one, because he helped me write the chorus. And so there was like a few things that he had in there that I decided to take out because it was like a little bit too vulgar. But I
Mhm.
did decide to leave the word rape and everything in there just to show how disgusting of a reality it actually is. And like I
Mhm.
basically wanted it to like rub people the wrong way,
100%.
so that they could like be disgusted by it, and if they wanted to complain or say something, well, I was going to be like, yeah, that's exactly what rape is like it's
Yeah,
disgusting, and
100%.
it shouldn't be just, you know, like another thing that happens. Like it should shock you and that kind of thing.
Yeah, don't revile me for giving you the message of thousands and millions of women that have gone through this trauma before.
Exactly, women
Yeah,
and men.
absolutely, absolutely. My apologies. I'm so
Oh
like
gosh, no.
dumb when it comes to that shit. I'm like, no, but yeah, Raw was definitely hard as fuck.
Thank you.
Um, yeah. And then you gave us Warmth.
Yes, that was with
Wow.
Nemo. Quite a change, eh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would say you were rapping like Jay-Z on Raw and you were singing like Beyonce on Warmth.
Well, it's funny that you say that because the song No Way was actually inspired by like Solange's last album, because I had
Mhm.
heard a song, and I mean, because like I listened to her album, but there's a few songs on it that I like, and I think one of them is called Bins. But there was a song that I listened to at Nemo's with him and his ex-girlfriend Eliza at the time, a friend of
Yeah.
mine, and they were like just like obsessed with the album. So they had a song playing, and then I went home and I started to kind of use those melodics a little bit in the chorus, and so
Mhm.
it came from a Knowles inspired kind of place. So it's funny that you should say that.
Oh
But
yeah.
Nemo's beats make me like more, they're more on a like lighter scale of how
Mhm.
it'll come out.
Yeah, absolutely. I was about to ask you who you worked with on that album. Nemo definitely makes sense to me when I think about it now. Um,
Yeah,
he brought you to more of a current sound. You know what I
exactly.
mean?
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
softer and it's like it reaches more audiences kind of thing, because it's kind of
Mhm.
like, I mean, I hate to say this, some people have compared it to pop. I'm not a huge pop person, but I still think
Mm,
like it is on the lighter scale, and like most
yeah,
people, like when they hear it, it's not like they're just like, oh yeah, this is kind of easy listening kind of thing.
right. I mean, it does kind of verge on the pop a little bit, but like you bring it back with your rapping and stuff. Like you're not all soft on this. You give us some hard stuff
Oh,
too, you know.
yes, this is
So
true.
like that really is dope for me.
Mhm.
Um, okay, let's get into some quotes because
Okay,
I gotta do it. On
I love
lifting
that.
illusions, you said, "My ghosts resemble parts of who I used to be, bent over backwards, trying to destroy the toxic parts of me."
Yes. And
You
it's
did.
so fitting and true, because I feel like I've come a long way in the person that I used to be, in the sense that I used to party a lot and I was always drinking, doing drugs, fucking being a little hoodlum, running around,
Mhm.
making bad decisions all the time. And it took me a while to kind of give my head a shake, in a sense. Like it was really starting to ruin my life, like in every aspect. And one day I just woke up and I wanted more for myself. And so that's what I meant by that, when it's like, you know, bent over backwards to destroy the toxic sides of me, because it wasn't an easy thing by any means. And I've been through a lot of hard times and traumatic things from putting myself in those situations as a young person.
Yeah.
But one day I just woke up and I was like, fuck this. I need to be normal and healthy and like get my life on track.
How was that journey? Was it like really difficult, or like was it good because you made the choice and you were resolute?
Uh It was a little bit of both. I can't say, as far as like self-destructive behaviors and things
Mm,
like that, those are completely mostly gone, but I still do struggle with like a lot of mental health things kind of like regularly.
yeah.
So that is a part of me that is always there, and I'm trying to kind of get through it. Um, but it was strange, because it was like one day it was easier for me to stop,
Yeah.
because I just kind of woke up and had like a different mindset. And it almost seemed like a magic thing, even though I know it's not quite that way, because the subconscious works however it works and stuff. But
Mm.
it definitely wasn't easy. But I'm trying.
Yeah. You're here, so that's all that
Yeah.
matters. In Matrix, you said, "We ain't dumb, Dr. Green Thumb busting all the stress, even though society a mess. So we pressed, running out of time, and and the day television poisoning our minds." My bad to stumble through that shit. I
Yes.
should have
Oh,
flowed that
that's
shit.
okay. No.
So you're saying that television's poisoning our minds, and this is so relevant. Speak on this.
Yes. Oh my God. Well, okay, so that line, I was kind of speaking to like 90s rap, like Cypress Hill, Dr. Green Thumb, obviously. And
Yes.
then when I was talking about television poisoning our minds, I got inspiration from that, from clearly what goes on nowadays subliminally, but also Suicidal Tendencies song Subliminal, when
Yes.
he's like, you're fucking with me subliminally. So in that
Subliminally.
sense, and I
Subliminally.
wanted, yeah, and I wanted to kind of bring that out as well. But as far as society goes, like everything's fucked. Like I don't believe anything I see on the media. I'm like pretty much at my wits end with this. And
Mhm.
the fact that like people are talking all this bullshit about facts and science and blah blah blah, when the people
Right.
that are actually the ones putting it out are in those certain people's pockets. So that's kind of
Absolutely.
what I meant. Just leading us astray and making us think things that, only benefit one bit of the population kind of thing.
Yeah, one narrative.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Unbeknownst to most of us.
Yeah. Can we talk about Black Buffalo?
Yeah, hell yeah.
They're very integral in your growth.
Yes, they are. Absolutely. They were the first ones to put out any of my music on CD, and they put Raw out. And the first song that I made with Fat Matt and Moves, it was called Gold Medal. And that was like where the idea for the album actually started, because that was like a song that when I went up to Truro just with Fat Matt one weekend just to meet up with everybody at Brian's place, we made that song. And then it was the first song that we had made together. And then Brian showed it to Kevin and Komoot at Black Buffalo. And that's when they said they wanted to get it pressed. And so that's when Brian started sending me beats and stuff, asking if I wanted to make an album. So that was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, anything that Moves does is automatically going to get signed to a dope record label. Like off the
definitely.
bat, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's such a cheat code, and not that you did it to like skip steps, but it helped you skip some steps.
It did. Oh, 100%. And like, I really consider myself really lucky, because I just happened to meet and become friends with some really influential, integral people in Canadian hip hop. And like, I just couldn't believe it, really. And like, this is awesome. And they've all been like great people to me and really kind, and like welcomed me with open arms and stuff. So that's been really cool.
Absolutely. And that kind of brings me into Moonwater, because also Black Buffalo artist Fortunato teamed up with you and Scrimmage, and Moonwater, great name, because that's what it makes me feel like when I'm listening to this. Like, it's just chill and vibey.
Totally.
Yeah. How did that come together?
So a couple years ago, for Hopscotch, I won a rap competition called Each One Teach One. And it's basically like certain mentors pick certain rappers that they think are talented or up and coming, and the winner will get like however much money that they allotted that year, and also an opening slot for Hopscotch's like main event night. And so Fortunato was down at that time, because he was covering, I think, Hip Hop Canada's Hopscotch thing on it. Session. And so he chose me to do the competition, and then I ended up winning the competition. And so the winner would get like a mentorship kind of thing with the artist that chose them. And so Fortunato, he and I just met that weekend, and then he interviewed me for Hip Hop Canada for Hopscotch. And then later on, he was just sliding me beats, and eventually we made a whole record. So that was really cool to get to know him too. He was just down here, him and his wife Joanna, they were just down, I think, it was like a couple months ago now. It was in August for the record, and we had them over, and my boyfriend and I made them like a delicious loaded seafood baked potato, which was so good. So it was nice to see them again. Fortunato is really cool, like really nice guy.
Fortunato is the man, and his wife is a VIP all-star.
I love Jo. She's like
Me too.
She's super funny. Like, yes, like she just like is always making me laugh. Like, she's just comical. She loves to laugh, and I love that.
Hell yeah. Okay. Let's get back to the quotes, because you be still smoking that shit. On Jealousy, you said, "Left alone as the ashes fall, the bulldozer came and broke down the walls."
Yes. Now that's speaking towards my own feelings of jealousy and intimate relationships at times, because I found that I was a really, really jealous person for a lot of years. And I guess it's just kind of like what happens sometimes growing up. You see certain examples of love that make you think whatever. And I had a lot of toxic relationships in my younger days as well. And so Jealousy, that part of the song was just me kind of explaining how once you allow that side out of you, it pretty much just is shitty for you at the end of the day, because you end up pushing people away, and then you're left alone, And what by bulldozer came and broke down the walls, I guess it just means that I have nowhere left to hide at that point and like just face with the reality of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, you're keeping it so real on these records. It's so awesome to hear somebody being so vulnerable and so open about things like that.
Well, thank you. And like I said, it's been really therapeutic for me. And that's what music has been. And so I typically like to rap about what I know. And in a sense, like music has helped me become a better version of myself in that sense, because it's like therapy. Like there's
Mhm.
something about like writing it down, but then also recording it and having it on a record. It's
Yeah.
like it releases that feeling of hurt or pain or woundedness that was in there. It's like it transmutes it. Like
Yes.
it's weird. It's cool,
Music keeps my demons away, so I know exactly what you're talking
right?
about. Yeah,
It's
for
a
sure.
blessing. It's really like
It
a sacred
absolutely
thing.
is. It absolutely is. Quote, I am anything but basic, and I'm come so far. I've struggled hard with mental health and drug addiction. I used to be in so much pain, I could do all I could do was cry. I'm
Yes.
so glad you're not in that space right now.
Thank you. And so am I, because I mean, it's a difficult thing, especially like mental health. Like drug
Mhm.
addiction and alcoholism is one thing that you're, continuously doing to yourself and kind of like putting yourself in that situation. But then it's like mental health is a whole nother beast in the sense where it's like, sorry, I think someone was like blending something out there. It just caught me off guard. And yeah, so like mental illness, you can't control that. You can't
Right.
control when you can control in a sense when you're gonna pick up a bottle or fucking do a line or shit like that. But
Right.
like as far as the mental illness goes, it's like it just hits you out of nowhere and you have to deal with it, and that's
All you can do is
fucking
cope.
hard. Exactly. Yeah. All
All
you
you
can
can
do is
do is
cope.
cope.
and
Yeah.
and that's how I used to cope in my younger days. I would cope with drugs and alcohol and
Mm.
abusing those substances, but it just made things so much worse. Now I just eat food, really. I just kind of eat food. I
Yeah.
occasionally partake in my recreational drugs of my choice because I don't particularly see anything wrong with that as long as I can keep my life on track and it's not too often. Because I
Yeah.
know who I am.
Once
I'll
upon
never be
a
able
time,
to
I had a
stop.
beer with you.
Yeah, that's right. Wasn't even
Yeah.
that long ago.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. It wasn't that long ago. You're such a follower of the people that came before you, and it shows in all your lyrics and what you do. Quote, I mirror those that stand before me. I don't care if you don't like me, bitch. I fucking adore me.
Yes, in that line, I was talking about um, kind of like an ancestral line
Yeah,
in this, and I was speaking on my like spirituality and stuff like that because I feel like a lot of the ways in who I am and who I show up as in the world has to do with my lineage of people before me and like spirits and ancestors that walk with me kind of thing. And
absolutely.
I'm always talking my shit in most music. So of course I'm like, I don't care if you don't like me. Like
Yeah, I
I'll
don't
like
give a fuck.
me.
I like me a lot, so fuck it.
Yeah. I'm pretty cool
Yeah, absolutely
sometimes.
you are. You're damn right. Okay, we got to talk about some of your friends because your friends are amazing too.
Okay.
Okay.
I'd love to.
Fat Matt is a PEI legend that moved out west to BC,
Mhm.
I believe.
Yeah, I think he was in Van. Yeah, he was
Okay,
in
okay.
Vancouver. Yep, BC.
He was down with Stomp Down for a little bit there,
Yes,
doing
that's
really
right.
big things out there.
Yes, he
And
was.
then when he came home, he met you and made it his business to make sure you were getting on.
He absolutely did, and like it was
Mhm.
like I love Fat Matt. Like he's so dope, and he's so smart and like such a cool, kind individual. Like he's like pretty much a genius. Like he really is. And I thought like the way that he saw something in me and really like helped me out in that sense. Like he was like a really integral part in me actually being okay with like showing who I am as an artist to the world, kind of thing.
So
That's
he kind of gave you the confidence to put yourself out there.
Well, he did because he saw something in me, and also like coming from him who has done that same
Hmm.
thing, it like showed me that like like the arts is a tangible reality for people that want to like go and have that as like a career. It's just like
Right.
growing up in PEI, it's almost like a lot of people doubt, and a lot of people kind of turn their nose up at it and think like, oh yeah, well you got to have an actual job and then you have a hobby, which would be music kind of thing. But in his
Right.
case, like that was his full-time shit. And so that
Yeah, he
made
made
me
it.
realize like how you can do that. Yeah, like it's possible.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like I love seeing people look up to him from PEI because he did what y'all are trying to do to the exact T, you know? Like he made it
Exactly.
out. He made it out. Man, did you meet my guy Scrimmage while you were up in Hopscotch?
I did, yeah. I met him because I met him when we were shooting the music video for Pass the Mic for Moonwater.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure that was the first or second time that I met Scrimmage. But he's so funny. He's like super nice and just like
Yeah.
really he's always
Scrimmage is
laughing
the
and
man.
making jokes. Yeah, and he's a really dope, talented artist too. So I really like his music, and he's like a solid individual, and he's like funny as fuck. And he just had a baby. Him and his wife just had a baby.
Yes, shout out to Sam. And
Yeah, Sam, she's a sweetie.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'm really excited for him because this is his first Black Buffalo release, I believe.
Yeah,
And you know, he's been working for a long time, so it's good to see him in the right places.
totally. And I know Kevin and Kamo think very highly of him as well.
Yeah, he's the man.
Totally.
Man, your homegirl, someone. We have to break this down. You guys have done
Okay.
some amazing things together already.
I love someone. She's such a sweetheart.
Yes, she is.
She, she's a badass bitch. I love it. Like,
Yes.
so she came down a couple years ago now, which time just flies, but she was down here for the Making Moves release with her and Moves, and
Hmm.
Hollywood, her boyfriend Jamie, was down here as well. So I met up with them and we went and did a little photo shoot in Dartmouth, like by the water and like by the
Hmm.
graffiti and stuff. So we went out to eat and stuff like that. So I got to know her a little bit and just kind of shoot the shit with her. And it was just nothing but good vibes. And like, she's just like an awesome, sweet individual.
Yeah, she's a really good person.
Yeah.
Like,
And she just kills it. Like her rhymes are just, it's actually so funny to see the layers of people, you know what I mean? Because it's like
mhm.
you said to me when you first heard Raw, you thought I was like a psycho serial killer, but then it's
Yeah,
like you meet me and I'm actually pretty fucking calm for the most part and like
you're
pretty chill.
chill
And
as
then it's
fuck.
like and then it's like someone who like most of her raps, it's like she raps like really aggressively and like really in your face. And then you like talk to her and she's like so sweet, like so calm and
Mhm.
chill. Like I love it.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like people like yourselves and someone wouldn't be so kind and sweet if they didn't have the outlet.
Oh yeah, you're probably right. I mean, outlets are really everything. And like I'm an Aries, so I need like a lot of physical activity to keep me from like fucking busting heads, like no joke. But so I like skateboard and I try to do physical stuff. I do yoga. I try to meditate and keep myself calm and like have these like
Mhm.
musical outlets and stuff. Otherwise, I don't know. I was a cranky bitch once upon a time and I wasn't doing any shit that I'm doing now. So
Yeah, exactly. Um, I heard when I interviewed her, she told me a little secret that you guys had a project coming.
yeah, we do. We do. And well, we haven't worked on anything yet, but it's going to be super dope because DJ Flatline and Kenderman are like the producing duo Milk Crate. And
Hmm.
I think I know they're in Oshawa, I'm pretty sure, but they're all in Ontario. And so we're planning on putting this album out, someone and I, produced by them. And like every beat that they've ever sent me has been like fire. Like they're
Yeah,
crazy good at what they
yeah,
do. And they've remixed a few of my songs off Nemo's album. And like I just love all their work. So we've both been pretty busy. Like all of us have been busy. And yeah, Kender's family's house burnt down
oh my
not
god.
that long ago, last year. So that was that was really shitty. And,
Yeah.
so that put definitely a kink in moving forward kind of thing. But we did like a song called For My People, and that's online as well. And you can donate to it for just getting his family kind of back on track. They're
Mhm.
doing better now, but I mean, the fire like took like pretty much everything that they had. So, and there was 2 kids and in the
Wow.
house and stuff. So
Definitely go stream For the People.
yes,
I'm sorry to hear
absolutely.
about that, Kinder, and Melcrate's definitely got those fire beats all
Oh
day,
yeah. Oh,
all
legit,
day.
legit.
Um, but yeah, you and someone have already been making extreme waves out there, and not just
Yeah.
like Canadian wise. I mean internationally.
Yes. When
Like
DJ
Primo,
Premier, yeah. Dude, like,
dude.
dude, I was losing my shit because, well, sometimes I recently read this book. It's called Psychic Self-Defense. It's by an author named Dion Fortune, and it talks about essentially the unseen forces, and if you're being attacked by an entity or whether it's something that you created, blah blah blah. And it just basically, I don't ever read fiction, so that's what I read. And she started
Mhm.
talking about how at certain point at certain points, there can be like sparkles and things in the air, and that means that the veil is thin. And I've seen that most of my life. When during really important times in my life, I see like sparkles in the air, and I never really knew what that was. And when DJ Premier played our song on his station when I first saw it, tons of sparkles in the air, like 100%. And it just like tripped me out. And I don't know, it was a magical moment. Like it was a magical moment for me, as it should be.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's one thing for DJ Premier, a legendary producer and DJ in the industry, to play your song once. But he played that shit 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, 3 weeks. 3 weeks. It
Come
was dope.
on.
I was losing it. I was losing it. I was so just like so amped about it. And still to this day, it's still crazy. And like, I hope that it won't be the last time that he does play our music on a station. And I'm confident I don't think that it will be, because
No,
I feel like I have a little bit of a guru aspect to myself as well, the things
100%.
that I do rap about. And so I find that interesting too. So I feel like the more stuff that comes out, he will probably hear that influence in it as well.
Oh, 100%. With the joint with you and Moves, I mean, I totally felt a Gangstar vibration, even though you were rapping hardcore bars. Like, for real. Like,
It's yeah, it's
it's totally
definitely
that
in
way.
there.
Hell yeah. That's fire. That's how you gotta do it. That's how you
Yeah,
gotta do
gotta keep it real.
it. What do you got coming next? Because you've been doing so much in the little time that I've known you.
So much. So Moves and I have another project coming out, which
Yes.
is pretty much nearly done. And it's not as like murdery
Hmm.
as, I mean, but there's still obviously some shit like that in it, because that's just what his beats make me feel
Yeah,
like.
it's
And
Moves.
so yeah, exactly. He's like hardcore and dope.
Yeah,
So that's coming out. I have another album with Nemo coming out, so that'll be the second one of those.
nice.
I am working on something that'll soon be coming out with Uncle Fester.
Oh, nice.
Um, I'm going to be working on an album with my boyfriend who makes beats and also raps a little bit. His name is End Up Jiggy, and so he makes like drill beats and stuff. So that'll be
Nice.
super dope. So that'll be a little EP that we'll be working on as well. And then also, I'm going to be doing a little EP with Game Shooter, the one who produced all the songs from Moonwater as well. So, and in
Nice.
between, I have tons of little projects, but and another one with Jazz May and Vince the Messenger. So that'll
Okay.
be as well. Kind of
Hell yeah.
about growing up on the island, Black. That'll be us three, because we all grew up on PEI as Black children.
Yeah. In a really predominantly white community and province.
Yes, yes. So that's
Yeah.
like, as far as albums and stuff go, that's what I'm working on, which is like a fuck ton of shit all the time, but
A
that's
lot.
just the way it's going. So yeah.
I mean, you got to strike while the iron's hot, so I'm not mad at you at all.
Thanks. I don't know any other way. Like, I don't know any other way
Mhm.
to do it than to just keep going, keep giving her.
Hell yeah. I'm looking forward to that Moves EP album a whole lot because
Thank
your first
you.
joint was just insane. Like
Yeah,
absolutely insane.
it was
And like I'm
cool.
looking for you to kind of get out of that murder mode because like I understand where you were at the time with anger and stuff, but man, I feel like you could get into some really deep shit the way he got in the someone bag, you know?
Yes, yes, exactly. And I mean, that's a part of me that's coming out more so as I'm getting to a higher frequency with my everyday life kind of thing. It's like I'm starting to have other things that I want to talk about instead of fucking killing people and shit.
Absolutely,
Murder.
absolutely. No, that's cool. That's cool. I respect the hell out of that because we gotta all get into a deeper, plane of life at some point,
Yes.
Um, but yo, thanks for your time, and I really appreciate you for rocking with us at East Coast
Oh,
Coverage.
thank you. Thank you for having me. I've had a blast.
It's an honor and a privilege. And you know what it is? It's Breaking Records Radio. Peace, love, and respect. It's hip hop, baby, and we out.
We out.